if you have not heard yet, there's a new bonsai convention going down in the Midwest in 2024. It's going to be May 3rd through the 5th at the Gateway Convention Center in Collinsville, Illinois. It's put on by the Bonsai Society of Greater St. Louis, and I highly recommend you check this one out because they are doing everything right. I think that they are just doing a phenomenal job with the entire expo and convention. So to start off, they got 6 just incredible headliners. They have Bjorn Bjorholm of AichiEn, Tyler Sherrod of Dogwood Studios, Andrew Robson of Rakuyo-en, Maria Hadstick, Young Cho, and Maro Stemberger. So super high-level guest artists. I'm very, very excited that they were able to line up those people. I don't think they could have done a better job with that. That is absolutely phenomenal. They're doing $7,500 in cash prizes for the trees, the Kusamono, and the Suiseki Expo. They have $2,500 for the tree that wins Best in Show. We're currently calling for entries right now. So if you go to Bonsai Central, bonsai-central.com/entries, you can enter your tree. Deadline is February 1st, 2024. So once again, bonsai-central.com/entries. You can check that out. In addition to that, they have 14 plus workshops. They have 12 informal pop-up demos, 2 formal demos. They have dinner, which is going to be included with the price of admission on Friday, Saturday. They have 9 plus bonsai and kusamono lectures plus Q&A sessions. They have 3 professional roundtables, and they have over 15 awesome vendors all confirmed. I would definitely recommend you check out the site and look at the workshop material. I am pumped. I would literally buy every single juniper if I could for the workshop price. I think that they are not charging enough there. They have these awesome twisty junipers. I don't know where they got them or how they were able to obtain them, but I would buy all of them. Of course, they're saving them for the workshops. They have really great workshop material. A lot of times workshop material, I'm like, it's all right. But this workshop material is looking very high level. So for more information, I would go to bonsai-central.com. You can learn all about the convention, and I am very proud to say that they are a sponsor for this episode. Thank you so much. Definitely check them out.
To baby trees. Bonsai. Bonsai. Bonsai.
It's almost like once you start doing it, you almost have to. Like it's.
Bonsai.
He takes his hand and grabs his hat on top of his head while he's looking at it.
The Black Pondo Podcast.
You can ask me anything. I'll talk about whatever.
Nice. Okay. Who's over there right now? In addition to yourself, as apprentices.
So as an apprentice, we only have. I'm gonna ruin his last name. His name's Andre. I want to say Dojanovic. I can't pronounce his last name. He's from Slovakia. He is now 24. What was it? Maybe like July of last year, something like that. I kind of posted on Instagram that we were looking for a new apprentice, and to be honest, like he was the only contender that was like saying like, yeah, I'm ready to come like right now. And a lot of people like they're interested, but then like, you know, there's a lot of commitment and that kind of stuff. Like, so a lot of people are interested, but don't want to commit to 5 years and that sort of thing. And he was like, I'll do it. So, he's here now. He's been here for a little bit more than a year. And then John Milton, who you were probably with him, when you were here. He's still here, but he's an employee. He has a family here in Japan, children, wife, and he's living here in Japan, for about 10 years working at AichiEn. So it's us 3 plus Oekata, and there's a Korean guy that will come from time to time, just not as an apprentice, but just to kind of learn bonsai a little bit, and now there's a Vietnamese guy also, Hong Son and Busan, Korean and Vietnamese respectively. They speak okay English. Like I can kind of communicate with them both. Of course, they both speak Japanese because they live here in Japan. So like, bonsai is kind of their newfound hobby. So that's why they're coming just to hang out and learn a little bit. It's a different setup than like being an apprentice. So yeah.
Yeah. And then does Martin, does he come from time to time or?
He is actually working for a different professional now. He's trying to live here in Japan. So
got it.
Yeah, so he came back to AichiEn and stayed here for a couple months until he kind of got his stuff sorted out to like go work and live independently from AichiEn. So he's doing his thing now. And yeah, he finished his apprenticeship, I want to like 2 years ago. I don't remember. I was with him for 2 years and then he finished. I want to say it was 2 years ago that he finished. That would have been like 2020 or 2021, something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Sweet. What's your work schedule like?
8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And, I live here. I don't go home. So realistically, it's like, if my wake up needs me to do some stuff, quote unquote, after hours, like I'm still here to work. And that's the official work hours, right? Like those are the hours we have to work. And then after 6 p.m., we are free to work or to relax. So a lot of times, after work, I'll be in the workshop doing my own trees, or if I'm wiring a tree for a wake after that, I want to work on like all night, I can do that. So yeah, it's 6 days a week. You get 1 day off a week, which is pretty fortunate compared to some other places. And even at AichiEn, prior to my apprentice, I have always had 1 day off a week since I became an apprentice. Prior, say like John and Juan's time as an apprentice, their days off were kind of sporadic. Never really know when you're getting a day off. I would say it was probably once every 2 weeks at that time, based on what they've told me. So like when I was living in America, a lot of my life I worked 2 jobs and I worked 6 days a week or more. So for me, sounds kind of dumb, but like being an apprentice is not that difficult for me. Like the work hours and everything like that. Like, yeah, I like the work and the hours are not really any different from what I'm accustomed to. And I'm at a good place to learn and I like being here. So yeah, I mean, for me, it's a good thing. I'm not really a 40 hours a week kind of person, just in general. Like, I have to be doing something.
I respect that. What are you doing on your days off?
So I have a fiance, Leticia. She's great, and she's kept me sane for, basically from the time that I met her. I was pretty much single for like the first year and a half here in Japan, kind of just going crazy in my own little closed garden of a world, and or walled garden, I guess is what you say. But yeah, I mean, she's great. She's helped me like get my head sorted out and deal with a lot of like the different stresses of being here in Japan as an apprentice and all that kind of stuff. So I always go spend my time with her. If I'm lucky, I can see her twice a week, but generally I see her like once a week. So that time is very important to me to spend with her. That's like my highlight, highlight of my week. But yeah.
Cool. Does she speak English?
Yeah. She's Brazilian Japanese. She speaks Japanese, Brazilian Portuguese, and English. English is her third language. But like, yeah, her English is perfect. She's a little bit shy to speak in front of other people and stuff like that. Last year I was able to go on a vacation for the first time back to Florida, and she came with me, and she was shy to speak around all my friends and stuff like that, but her English is perfect. her family. Her youngest sister is learning English in school, so she likes to chat with me. Her middle sister can understand English, but she feels really shy to speak, so I can talk to her and she understands me but won't talk. And I study Portuguese a little bit. I need to study more because her parents, they don't speak English. They speak Japanese and Portuguese. So for me, as dumb as it sounds, I didn't spend any time learning Japanese because in my head I'm always thinking I'm going back to the States and I'm not going to use it. But I do have a reason to learn Portuguese, so I feel more motivated,
Yeah, absolutely.
But 5 years in Japan without Japanese language is not anything I'd recommend to anyone. So don't do that.
Yeah. Oh man, I can't imagine. I think it'd be difficult not knowing the language over there. When I was over there, I was just getting lost on the subway and trying to order things off the menu and just hitting something and pointing because it was easier.
I basically interact with the world around me as if I'm just an invisible NPC going through the world. I don't know. That's its own subject, but I don't know. Not speaking Japanese, it definitely can hold you back in Japan. Well, anywhere, any country, you don't speak the language, you're going to be held back to some degree, right? But yeah, I mean, I can learn here in AichiEn, and that's good. But let's say if I wanted to go outside of AichiEn to learn something, I definitely can't communicate what I would like to know. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And of course, going to a restaurant or whatever, I have to order the words that I use are very basic and simple, and I sound like I'm dumb, but I don't really care anymore.
Does Mr. Tanaka speak with you in English or not really?
Yeah, almost entirely. Cool. He does speak in Japanese from time to time to give commands. But I understand some Japanese work stuff that's related to work. I understand really easily. I do understand some normal conversation Japanese. I just don't speak the language. You of course pick up a lot just from exposure and understanding the context of the language. So I'm not entirely unable to speak Japanese, but I'm not conversational at any real level.
Difficult language to learn, I think.
Yeah, for English speakers, I think it takes 1,400 hours to learn the language. I mean, likewise for Japanese, they struggle to have good English pronunciation. So it's not a Latin-based language, right? So of course it's going to be difficult.
For sure. Yeah, going back to your fiance, I just wanted to say that just looking at pictures and talking with you and seeing the things that you post, I feel like you seem very happy. And that makes me really happy.
Yeah, that's my dog too. She's my dog, man.
I'm stoked for you, man. I'm super stoked.
I have to say I'm extremely lucky to have met someone that matches with me so well on the opposite side of the planet. It kind of doesn't make any sense, but super, super lucky, super appreciative of her. She's great.
That's awesome, man. Very cool. Cool. Well, you want to? I have some bonsai specific stuff.
Yeah, dude, I got plenty of time.
Okay, just if you got to leave, just cut me off. And I know I don't want to make Mr. Tanaka angry.
I made sure it was okay that I could have time to do this. So, and he knows you, he likes you, he thinks you're cool. So he's cool with me doing this.
Very nice.
So yeah, let's get into the bonsai stuff. And if you feel anything's a bit extraneous, I don't care if you edit it out.
Hey, first, I was just curious. What do you guys do for pest and disease management? I like asking everybody this question.
I mean, we spray. We spray based on whatever we're dealing with, right? And mostly my Oyakata, only him, he's making decisions what we're spraying and when we're spraying. we have like a commercial orchard sprayer. It's like a gas powered orchard sprayer. It's like I've also posted videos of this thing, but like it just blasts. It's pretty cool, but it's very high powered, and like its real use is like to be out in like a field, like spraying the tops of trees and that sort of thing. But you know, we have like a 200-liter tank that we have to fill up. Like usually it takes about 1.5 tanks to do the whole garden. So when we spray, it's kind of like a 3 to 4 hour endeavor. So, you know, we have to pick the right time to do it. And primarily what we're dealing with is like spider mites, thrips. I can't tell you like any specific fungus because I don't know.
For sure.
Yeah, we do a lot of preventative spraying for fungus and bacterial disease.
And right time is just in the like usually in the morning or really late when it's not windy.
Windy. Probably it's better not to spray in the wind for health reasons, right? But like if it needs to be done, we're gonna do it regardless. And yeah, because some sprays, especially oil-based sprays, can burn foliage on like a hot day, it's better to try and do it in the cooler parts of the day, which is generally going to be the morning. I don't know if there's anything wrong with spraying in the later parts of the day, say like past 3 p.m. But personally, my feeling is like wet foliage overnight is like it's a breeding ground for it's a breeding ground for pest and disease. So I'd probably say like your best bet is always early morning rather than late evening or whatever.
Solid.
We don't have like a very strict.
Yeah, I think the last thing I heard you say was just that we don't spray in the night, and that makes sense. I never do either. I always do it first thing in the morning. Wake up, go spray, and then I jump in the shower and throw my clothes in the wash.
Yeah, so I do get to shower after I can hear you. I do shower after I spray too and wash my clothes, but we'll say all of my spraying that I did in Florida, I did it unprotected and definitely not advised. So, yeah.
Tell me a little bit. I know we've kind of been going back and forth, and you've posted a few times about Sun Show, but would you fill people in on what is Sun Show? Okay,
so it's pronounced Sun Show, but Sun Show is a rare variety of Japanese black pine that has a very thick, short needle. So it almost looks like a succulent leaf, which is kind of strange, but it's just a rare variety that now in Japan it's the most like sought after variety. So like it's just like a kind of cool rare variety of black pine. I would say it's dwarf in nature. Typically you don't even have to decandle it because it just stays naturally tight. So that's like a little bit appealing, or some of its appeal is that it's just like easy to maintain. So yeah, like I've grafted one of a red pine that I'm kind of 50-50 on with my Waikata, and I wanted to graft it with normal black pine, but he said like, nah, put Sunsho on it because like it's the most rare, expensive variety. So like, so that's what I'm doing. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of iffy on it too, like where I kind of feel like it's cool because it's unique, but I also kind of feel like it doesn't look like black pine, and I'm not sure if I actually like it all that much. But yeah, I mean, it has its appeal. I can understand that. So yeah,
that's so cool. I've never seen it. I really appreciate you posting pictures of it and sending me pictures of trees fully grafted over with it. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I like it, but like I almost like it more up close than like on a tree. And I do. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm just used to looking at black pine, and that's kind of like my standard. So I like that more. But it is really it's a very interesting variety. Do you know how long it's been popular in Japan?
No, I don't. I think it's a relatively new variety. I mean, relatively new could be like 10 to 15 to 20 years here in Japan. I don't know exactly for sure. I will say, like, a tree that's well refined and dense with Sunsho it does look good, but those trees are not common. Like, because, I mean, it's a rare variety, so, like, the rarity of it makes it kind of hard to find, like, these trees that have been developed with that leaf already. And, the only times that I have seen like well-developed Sunsho is at auction, and they are generally being bought by foreign buyers and sending them out of Japan. So yeah, I mean that's also going to play into the rarity of it. It's like they're leaving faster than they can grow them.
Yeah, I wonder if they are if they're maybe more popular with foreign buyers, and mainly are you talking about people from China?
Yeah, I mean,
gotcha. And do you think that maybe they're really popular in China, and that's what's stirring this whole thing up, or are they also popular among Japanese professionals?
I would say it's a bit of both, but definitely the demand for it is higher among like Chinese buyers compared to like Japanese professionals. But
interesting.
Because there's a demand for it, of course, Japanese professionals are going to try and like create and supply the demand, right?
Yep, for sure. Tell me a little bit about.
Well, there's other varieties that are kind of nice too. I mean, we don't have to get like deep into it because, of course, there's like tons of varieties of every species. But yeah, I mean, Sunsho is just like the most sought after variety now.
I wonder if any have been in Kokufu or any of the other big shows.
I don't know. Yeah. I'm sure I could look through some books and find out, but off the top of my head, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I haven't seen it, but I may have just not noticed that it was how do you say it again? I'm sorry.
Sunsho.
Sunsho. Okay. Sunsho. Yeah, I feel like I haven't seen Sunsho in any of the Kokufu albums or anything like that, but I may just need to look a little bit harder. And it may just not be, it may not have been around long enough to be in Kokufu yet.
Well, I mean, it's a really high standard it's a high standard to get a tree in. So if the tree is Sunsho, but it's not like Kokufu level, it's not going to get in, right? So
for sure,
I don't know if there's any in Kokufu or not. I'd have to also look at like probably like the past 5 years. If there's one in there, it's probably going to be in one of those books. So I can take a look.
Yeah, sweet, very nice, very nice. All right, changing gears here. So I know that prior to going to Japan, you were really big into a lot of the Florida natives, and particularly sea hibiscus. Was curious, are you still really gung ho about sea hibiscus? And do you have any in Japan right now?
I actually, my first year as an apprentice, I found one for sale on like the Yahoo auction in Japan is like the equivalent of eBay in America. So I found one on Yahoo auction and I bought it and, had it mail ordered. But it's just too cold in here. After 2 years, like the winter protection that I could give it was just keeping inside of our workshop, and like it froze inside of the workshop on the second year. So I just couldn't keep it. But as far as tropicals go, like, yeah, it's my favorite tropical, hands down. They're really fun to work with. They get super dense, super tight. They develop fast. They heal well. They get craggy bark. Like everything about good bonsai, like it like meets the mark,
Absolutely.
So on that note, like Mike Lane has been doing some really awesome stuff with sea hibiscus. So you should consider having him on sometime and shoot it. I was gonna say shoot the shit with him, but if/when I go back to the States, I want to be able to grow sea hibiscus no matter where I end up. Just as like a species, for me, it's kind of like a very fun thing to work with. So I definitely want to grow it more.
Awesome. Did you collect them back then? Or were they grown from?
I took a couple, I took a couple like branch cuttings. And I found like a pretty nice piece of material at a local nursery one time and just like put the effort into developing it into a shohin. And I took cuttings from that tree and I developed some pretty decent trunks from it in the short amount of time that I had with it before I came to Japan. But yeah, I mean, in 2 or 3 years, you can develop something like 2 to 3 inches thick with movement in branches. So it's good. It's fun. It's a fun species to work with. The variety that grows natively in Florida is not really the best variety. Eric Weigert is now getting some from Taiwan of like that highest leaf quality, where it's like a very thin twig that's very dense easily and the leaf stays small easily. Where it's like the ones that you'd find in Florida or in the like landscape trades, they have a large leaf that's hard to keep a uniform size. And there's some other varieties that are like circulating in Florida that are like, you can still make good trees with them, but they're just like more difficult to manage. Which like having the variety of different leaves is also fun in its own right, because like every tree needs its own special attention. So I mean, it keeps you busy, right?
Totally. So in Florida, do they collect sea hibiscus trunks? Or is that not really?
It seems like it. I mean, I don't know what everyone is doing, but it seems like it's not really a thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why. You can cut a log and root it if you really wanted to. Like if you couldn't get any roots, it's almost no problem. I mean that's also like why tropicals are fun. Like you just do absurd things with them. But yeah, it doesn't seem like it's really a thing to collect trunks. Like of course people have, but nothing that like really stands out in my mind. And I know Eric Weigert has been field growing them for some time, and he's built some trunks that are like pretty chunky. So
sweet, very cool. So, tell me about the Taiwanese bonsai artists that you're interested in.
Yeah. I know, Min Juan Lo. So, because I was living in Florida and doing tropicals, I always was in the mindset the highest level tropicals are being made in Taiwan, so I'm going to look to Taiwan for inspiration. And there's a Taiwanese bonsai artist named Min Juan Lo who I don't know if most people want to call it like bonsai. Maybe it's like something else, right? But it's obviously bonsai, but like maybe it's like a different classification because it's Taiwanese, not Japanese. But the movement he puts into trees is very inspired by like it's by like Chinese calligraphy, to where line and movement is much more important in the design of the tree. And I don't know if you've ever seen his trees or his book. He has a really good book. I don't know if there's an English edition or not, but I had it with I'm assuming it's Chinese characters, but I had that book, and he's got 20-year progressions of trees that he's developed in that book, and I believe he's also a second-generation bonsai maker in Taiwan. So, yeah, he's really, really talented tropical bonsai maker. And actually, I don't remember what year, but I asked him if I could become his apprentice, and at the time, he was doing a demonstration in Puerto Rico, and he told me, like, well, come to Puerto Rico and we can talk. And when I went there, he was just like, "No, I can't take apprentices." It's like, shit, I came all the way to Puerto Rico just to say no. Like, it was still cool, like, going there, right? But it was just kind of funny that it was like such a short conversation. And
that's rough.
Yeah, it's cool though. And then
props for doing that.
Well, dude, it was a 3-hour flight. It doesn't seem that far, but yeah, I was just like, well, I asked my boss, like, hey, can I take a vacation? And they're like, one is like, I don't know, like 2 weeks from now. And like, why? It's like, I want to go to Puerto Rico. Like, why? There's this Taiwanese guy there, and I want to talk to him. Like, it's like, what are you talking about, dude? Like,
oh man, they thought you were absolutely.
Oh yeah,
bonkers.
Yeah, for sure. Like, for sure, they weren't entirely wrong, but
yeah. After you told me about him previously, I started to look up his work, and he has some really cool ficus, premna, sea hibiscus, pistachio, really interesting varieties. Get some insane ramification as well.
Yeah, and
I like this stuff. It's different. It's not just like Japanese professional bonsai, but it's cool. I like it a lot, and I feel like Taiwanese bonsai is pretty high level, generally speaking. Pretty impressed with a lot of their stuff.
The way I like to think about Taiwanese bonsai, and I mean, this is not as an expert, like definitely no expert on Taiwanese bonsai, but the way I think of it is like Japanese technique and Chinese design. So you have the high level execution of technique and like a very whimsical Chinese creativity in the design. And I think that's my idea of what Taiwanese bonsai looks like.
I like that.
And there's several other Taiwanese professionals. There's a guy, Cheng Cheng Kung. I'm probably saying his name wrong, but
he's made the silk carving guy?
Yeah, and he's made some great, like, huge Taiwanese junipers that, like, they're all field grown, hand carved, and they look like Japanese yamadori. It's great stuff.
Oh, those things are so badass.
Yeah, we had a Taiwanese juniper here at AichiEn that my way got the styled for a Kanban article, actually.
Oh, cool.
It's a huge tree. Like, probably before he worked on it, it was probably like a solid 8-foot wide tree. Like, wow. From the left branch to the right branch, definitely is like 8 feet wide at least. Huge tree.
Wow.
Yeah.
Field grown.
Craziness. Field grown, yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, I remember Boone had one of those Taiwanese junipers in his collection. That was pretty nice, really twisty, and they're just so cool that they field grow those.
Yeah, I think Russell imported, like, I want to say like 4 to 6. I think it's less than 10.
Okay.
I know there's one in Florida still, or maybe it's still there. There was maybe 2 in Florida. There was one at Miami Tropical Bonsai that Michael Haggard one worked on, maybe like 2008 or 2012.
I remember seeing that on his blog.
Yeah, I think that tree has, like, it's gone with the wind. I don't think it exists anymore.
Dude.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Yeah.
And I don't know where the other ones are, but there's, something like 4 to 6 of them in our country.
Yeah. So it seems like somebody over in Taiwan just grew like a massive amounts of those things. Probably like more than 30 years ago now. Probably started them.
So from what I understand, there's more than one grower.
Okay.
But from what I understand, maybe the oldest ones are about, like, I'm going to say between 80 to 60 years old. So they're not even, like, of course it's old, but, like, when you consider, like, the age of Japanese bonsai, they're not that old. in comparison, and they're huge, huge trees. So what like the Taiwanese have done in that amount of time is like it's insane. It's such high level field growing that they've accomplished, and the carving work. I mean, I'm speaking in generalities, but the carving work is like so high level. It's great.
For sure. Yeah, I really like when you pull the fiber, it just looks more natural than tool carving. So, big fan of that. Generally speaking.
I completely agree. Like large trees when they're tool carved, that feeling of like the machine tools, like it never goes away. So I think on a large tree, like it's a pretty big mistake to carve it with tools. At least to do major carving work with tools. Shohin, I don't think machines leave as obvious tool marks if you do a good job. I think you can do more convincing work with tools on Shohin than you can on a big tree.
Agree. Yeah. It's interesting how the size of the tree makes a difference there. You know, like for example, a Shohin, you can also get away with more fun, colorful pots compared with bigger trees. It's like too much if you put them in, too much color or a painted pot or something like that. I mean, certain painted pots work well, but they have to be more muted and less in your face.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, best I could say is just because the tree is so small and cute, you kind of have this like playful nature to it, Even with like a pine, it like a really fat Shohin pine is still like cute compared to like a big Yamadori pine. So
yeah, for sure. What kind of soil do you guys use at AichiEn?
We use a lot of river sand. We have like one general mix. Okay, so it's river sand, and I think the river sand here is probably granite of some sort. I'm not 100% sure, but it's super heavy, so I'm assuming it's granite. So we use it in a pretty coarse size, and the general mix is going to be like it's going to be akadama, sand, a little bit of pumice, and then a splash of charcoal. So if it's a deciduous, we're going to use more akadama and a small size of pumice with maybe a little bit of sand or no sand, and always the charcoal. And then on pines, we can do like 8 parts of sand to 1 part of akadama and 1 part of pumice, so that the mix is like very dry. And I mean, sand it doesn't hold water. I mean, it holds like some amount of water, right? But it doesn't hold water, so you have to water more. But at the same time, trees can grow more vigorously in a drier mix. So it seems a little counterintuitive, but like, yeah, sand is good for growing stronger. Pines seem to like being more dry than like constantly wet, so that's why we're heavy on the sand with them. And then like Shokin, we're using the same kind of mix, but just a smaller particle size.
Nice. And just to clarify, so when you say river sand or sand, you're talking basically like little pieces of granite, essentially, and there's the same size. You sift out all the really fine, like when I think sand, I think beach sand. So we're talking more like rock, like little rocks, right?
Yeah, it's rock. It's like coarse rock. Like what I'm calling sand is the same size as akadama.
Gotcha.
So it's the same size particle, but I mean, in Florida, I spent years looking for like quote unquote river sand, right? And what I actually ended up finding was a coarse grit silica sand, and it's like 100% silica. And it's different from what we're using here, and I'm pretty sure what we're using here is granite. So I don't know if like that's what I've never used decomposed granite in the States. So maybe that's what the same thing is. I don't know for sure. In Florida, as you know, like there's no stone. It's just like crushed shell and sand. As like there's no bedrock.
For sure. Yeah, I've asked some people what the equivalent of river sand would be in the U.S., and I've heard decomposed granite. However, I kind of don't think that it's decomposed granite. Usually decomposed granite, what I think about, it's like there is some rock in it, but it's also like very powdery and like too fine. However, I've seen just crushed granite before sold in the US, and I think that's more along the lines of like what a river sand would be, more of a crushed granite without the fines in it. So
I have a feeling that it's crushed granite. I don't know for sure. Like the word we use for it here is suna, but suna just means sand. So yeah, it just means sand. It's not very descriptive of like what the actual material is.
Makes sense. I know it's a common.
Yeah, it's different from kiryu though. Kiryu is not river sand. Kiryu is like its own. I don't know, like rock or mineral, whatever. And I also don't know specifically what kiryu is. I just know that it's something similar to like what we call river sand, but it is different.
Gotcha. Cool. Awesome. What about fertilizer? Mostly chemical fertilizers in a tea bag?
We use a pelletized organic fertilizer, and sometimes, well, it seems like lately we always put like a portion of chemical fertilizer into it to kind of give it like a little bit of a boost. And sometimes we mix bone meal into it also. But the organic fertilizer we're using, it's like a 332 or 331, something like that. But it's just like literally it's like $1 a pound, something like that, or $1 a kilo. Wow, whatever the Japanese equivalent of that is. Like it's just like a cheap fertilizer. It's nothing special. So me personally, I am an advocate of just getting a fertilizer that's cheap, that you can afford to use a lot. And like as long as it's an organic fertilizer and your trees are responding well to it, like that's good. I don't really care like too much about like brands and all that kind of thing.
Fair play, man. Awesome. Well, I think I kind of only had maybe like one more question for you. Unless there's any other like tree type topics that you wanted to cover or anything you wanted to talk about.
Well, yeah, I can talk about whatever. I mean, if you want to do another podcast some other time on something more specific and focused, we can even do that as far as like I'm concerned.
Cool.
So yeah, hit me with whatever. I got time.
Okay. Maybe I got 2 or 3 more for you then. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, kind of a deep question. I'm just curious. So, living in Japan and becoming an apprentice compared to when you were in Florida, like how have you changed as a person?
Ooh, that is deep.
And that's a tough one to just hit you with.
No, but I know that my personality has changed a lot. I mean, it's kind of like whenever you go through adversity, you either sink or swim, right? So I think I've matured a lot. Definitely, I mean, not to get like too weird about it, but like definitely in my life I've struggled with like some, depression and acting like an idiot, which maybe that's not a mental illness, but maybe being an idiot is. And I definitely drank too much and, did other stuff that everyone does. But, being here, just focusing on my work and knowing that, like, it's my life. I've made these choices, so I either got to own it or, like, shut up, right? So, I don't know. There's a lot of self-accountability that you have to have while you're in Japan as an apprentice, especially as a foreign apprentice, because like if I back out now, like I've just wasted 4 years of my life for nothing. It's kind of how I think. So even like 1 year into it, I'm thinking that way. Like if I back out now, then like I've proven everybody that I didn't have what it takes to do this or whatever, or prove to myself I couldn't do it. So I don't know. I've had to do a lot of maturing that probably I should have done when I was younger, but I wasn't thinking like an adult when I should have been thinking like an adult. Because yeah, like I always worked a lot, right? Like I definitely had adult responsibilities, but I always found a way to not act like an adult, I guess is a nice way to put it. I don't know. And then on the other hand, like the culture, I had kind of reverse culture shock when I went back to Florida. But part of that is just like being so isolated as an apprentice for so long. Like, it sounds weird to say, but like just regular interaction is like kind of like weird now because like, I don't interact with many people on a given day. Definitely, there's been days here that like I don't speak at all, and then like I'm sitting in my room and I just have to make sure my voice still works.
That's a trip.
So. Yeah, there's a lot of small things that have changed about me that maybe I can't put into words very eloquently, but maybe people that know me they'll have a sense for it. I mean, it kind of sounds cheesy, but I'm definitely trying to be a lot more understanding of other people and realizing, we're not all perfect. Yeah, maybe becoming less judgmental and harsh and critical. Probably that's something that I've been working on a lot.
Awesome, man. Well, I am very impressed in speaking with you, and I don't feel like, I feel like you're actually very good at speaking, and I feel like, even for me, like, yeah, I think you're very, very talented at communication. And I would ask you a question and I could just see the wheels turning in your mind. And then I feel like you can express what is in your mind. And I feel like I have a hard time doing that a lot of times.
Yeah, I feel like the exact same way though. And when I like listen to your podcast and I hear you speak to me, I still feel like, your wheels are turning and you're a good speaker. So I guess the feeling is mutual, man.
Well, thank you
I don't
very
think
much.
of myself as a good speaker. I do think that I try to communicate very plainly and simply, and maybe that's all you're noticing, that I don't have a great vocabulary.
I don't have a very good vocabulary. But cool. All right. Well, one more for you. So what in the next 15, 20 years, what would you like to see within U.S. bonsai in the States?
Ooh. Yeah, so I have
of.
some thoughts. I have thought actually a lot about this. Like I was saying, there's a lot of days I don't even speak, but when I'm sitting there, I'm thinking. Yeah, there's a lot of time to think. So, I mean, I think American bonsai is a really good direction. And like you see a lot of great yamadori material being collected and developed by, many people across the US now. It's not only professionals that are like developing high level material into high level bonsai. So I think something that's really important, that probably more important than anything else, is just like thinking about longevity of your trees. I know bonsai in the US actually has a pretty long history that there's a collection of trees like the Lars Anderson collection, I think it's Harvard. Some of those trees were imported into US into like the 1890s and early 1900s. I know at the Pacific Bonsai Museum is at the place out in Oregon with Aaron Packard. I know they have a tree that's like a momiji from like 1910, something along those lines. So like bonsai in America has a very long history, but there's not many very old American bonsai. Like there's a Tanaka must have had, huge collection of trees. Some are alive, some aren't. And, Ben Oki. In Florida, we had like Jim Smith, Joe Samuels. I can name the Florida people more easily. But for example, like many of these pioneers of American bonsai, like their trees didn't move on to that next generation, or the majority of their trees and the majority of their work didn't continue on after them. So, I mean, just that in itself, making sure that like your trees are not just a single generation piece of material, I think that's like critical to elevate bonsai in America. And I mean, part of that is education. Part of that is like, having more professionals, having more hobbyists. Like it kind of encompasses everything. I think like everybody has to kind of, make it happen themselves too, right? So having like a healthy bonsai market also helps that happen, because like I know in Japan it's pretty common that like somebody dies and then their trees die too, because like they didn't know how to sell them, or they didn't have anyone to contact to move those trees to another garden or whatever. And I feel like, the same can happen in America. Like you could spend your whole lifetime making these trees. Now you're old, you're weak, and you're sick, and maybe you can't water every day. And within a week, like all of your trees could be dead. And I don't know if that's what's happened specifically in America with bonsai, but it seems like a lot of really old trees just like don't exist. I know there's exceptions, so I'm not saying it's like they don't exist entirely. It's just like for the amount of history American bonsai has, I think there's a very evident lack of old trees. So I would hope that in the coming years, like that doesn't carry on. Like I hope that my trees, when I die, go to like whoever it may be. If I have somebody to take on my nursery whenever I'm done with it, I hope they can carry on my work, and I hope like everybody kind of thinks like that. As far as like what I want to see, I want to see bonsai being developed at a very high level, and I think like we're really well onto our way of like that being true. Like there is a lot of like very high level bonsai being made in America. So if we continue that, and I would like to see more growing happening in America, a lot more field growing and that sort of thing. There's a handful, but there's not a lot. There's definitely a lot less of it than even Yamadori now, which is kind of, it seems like it would be the opposite. Like it's definitely the opposite in Japan. There's a lot more field grown material than collected material. But I don't know, man. I think America's on a really good path. Seems like it's going up and up and up. It doesn't seem like it, we're going flat or going down at all.
Yeah, I think we are on a good path. I think bonsai living and being passed on and becoming multi-generational trees in the States is extremely important. And I feel like the biggest part of that is people like you, people that have gone and done apprenticeships and really learned from Japanese professionals the way to keep bonsai thriving and brought that knowledge back to the States. I think that we keep seeing more and more of that, and that information is being shared and passed along and taught. Yeah. And I think that that's really what is making American bonsai so bright. And so I guess just want to end this by saying thank you so much, Seth. Like you are absolutely awesome. I love following all your stuff. And you are also the future, like you and all the other apprentices that go over and live a difficult life in Japan, giving a lot of things up. You guys are the reason why American bonsai is going to prosper and do so well. So thank you so much, man.
First I accept your comments. Like, no, thank you. I appreciate you letting me come onto the podcast. Like, it's the first podcast I've done, and like I really enjoyed talking with you, and I really enjoy your work. So it's fun for me to get the chance to talk with you on this kind of platform. So thank you. And I don't think it's, of course, like Japanese trained apprentices, like you can bring back a lot to offer American bonsai, but there's a lot of like non-trained professionals that are doing like really good work and pushing the art too. So yeah, I just wanted to say that. I had something. I lost it, but it's whatever. I forgot.
Cool, man. Well, I'm sure there are a lot of non-trained professionals as well, but I do think that the level is being elevated, and it's fun to learn all these different techniques and see different schools of thought from different bonsai apprentices and non-apprentices. But really appreciate it, man. Would love to have you on again sometime. And thank you so much, dude.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. And whenever our schedules match up again, let's do it again. And there's one last thing. I remember what it was. I want to see more information and education being shared freely in American bonsai, because I think I'm here in Japan and maybe like I'm working for my education, right? It's not like I'm being handed it, but the amount of knowledge that I've gained from being here, like it feels like it's just being freely given for like the benefit of bonsai internationally. That's how I interpret it. So that's why all my posts on Instagram, I try to make them educational so I can share some of my experience while I'm here. Because I know that not everyone's life experience will allow them to like come here and do this. So I think it's important to like share knowledge and freely to elevate bonsai in general. So yeah, that's my final closing statement, and I'm going to stick to it.
Solid. Love it, man. What's your Instagram, just in case anyone doesn't know it?
So currently my Instagram is seth.nelson.bonsai. I had an Instagram page that I accidentally deleted. I lost 8 years of content, but it's whatever. So that's a new Instagram page. I don't have as many followers as I used to and all that. So my reach isn't that great. So if anybody's listening, likes what I have to say, definitely follow it. Definitely tell everybody that, they should follow me too. And yeah, that's it. It's also, I have a Facebook page too. Facebook business page, not my personal page, but it's Seth Nelson Bonsai on Facebook as well. And the content's the same on both platforms.
Sweet. You don't go by the Heartthrob name anymore, huh? That's old school.
No, it's old school, but that's who I am on the inside, man. I'm still Heartthrob.
Love it. I guess you can't be, maybe you can't have that Instagram name anymore now that you're engaged.
Well, now I'm supposed to be a professional, right? So we got to pretend to be a professional at least, but everybody knows I'm still Heartthrob. That's me.
For sure. For sure. Cool, man.
All right. Thanks a lot.